There is a quiet kind of destruction that does not come from outside enemies. It sits right beside you at dinner, passing the salt. It calls you just to check in. It shares your bed, your office, your Sunday afternoons. And yet, over the months, the years, it systematically dismantles the person you used to be. I'm not talking about monsters under the bed or strangers in the street. I'm talking about the people whose names are saved in your favorites, people you've defended, people you've bled for. And the real tragedy? The poison isn't what they say to you. The poison is that you've stopped believing yourself. Let's be honest about how that feels. You leave a conversation with them and your chest feels tight, like you're breathing through a straw. You feel hollow, heavy, and strangely small. But the moment you try to put a finger on why, you pull back. You tell yourself you're being too sensitive. You tell yourself they had a hard day. You carry their bags, their trauma, and their excuses until your own back is breaking. And then you apologize for the noise your bones make when they finally snap. That isn't just relational friction. It's the erosion of your inner clarity. Your mind wasn't always this noisy. There was a version of you, maybe years ago, who trusted their gut. But you were trained out of it. Your kindness was weaponized against you. Your desire to be the good one, the peacemaker, the one who understands, became the cage you built for yourself. You started overriding your own internal alarm system until you eventually just pulled the batteries out to make the ringing stop. So now you're stuck in this gray fog. You feel the ache of the damage, but you're still looking for a reason to stay. Today, we aren't looking at labels or clinical terms. We're looking at the mechanics of the theft. I'm going to show you exactly how they do it, not so you can fix them, but so you can finally stop gaslighting yourself. Because once you see the strings, you can't unsee the puppet master. And once you realize you're being hollowed out, protecting yourself doesn't feel like a choice anymore. It feels like survival. If you are watching this and you already sense that someone in your life is slowly pulling you away from yourself, just write in the comments, "I see this." That is all. No explanation needed. Just a moment of honest self-observation. Before we go deeper into these 7 types, if this kind of clarity is something you value, do something small for me. Buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. Your small support can motivate us and help us to grow. Stay till the end, because this is going to be a conversation that changes how you see every relationship around you. The first person you need to look at isn't a villain. They don't scream and they don't throw punches. If they did, you'd have left a long time ago. No, this person is much more dangerous because they operate in microdoses. They are the thief of small joys. I call them the constant diminisher. Think about that one person. You know the one. You come to them with a spark in your eyes. Maybe you finally got that promotion, or you just cooked a meal that actually tasted like home. For a second, you feel light. You feel seen. And then they speak. It's never a direct hit. It's a sideways comment. "You got the job? Wow, hope the commute doesn't kill you. You're proud of a project? It's good, but did you see what Sarah did? You're finally happy?" They remind you of a bill you forgot to pay. It's like they carry a small pair of scissors, and every time you start to grow, they snip just a little off the top. Not enough to make you bleed, just enough to make sure you never reach the sun. And here's the twist that keeps you trapped. They do it with a smile. They call it being realistic. They call it looking out for you or just joking. And because you're a good person, you swallow the lump in your throat and tell yourself you're being oversensitive. but your body knows the truth. Deep down, something inside you is dying. Every time you share a dream and they meet it with a "but," your brain takes a note. It learns that it's not safe to be excited. It learns that joy is a target. After months of this, you don't even need them in the room anymore to feel small. You start doing their work for them. You stop yourself from applying for the dream job. You stop telling people your good news. You've been trained to flinch before the blow even lands. You aren't unmotivated. You are exhausted from being edited. This isn't just personality clashing. It is a slow, methodical erasing of your spark. When you finally see this for what it is, you realize something that hurts to admit. Staying loyal to a diminisher is just a slow way of committing suicide on your own potential. You aren't being supportive by staying. You're just helping them hold the scissors. The second type is the hardest to walk away from, because they don't come at you with a snarl. They come at you with a wound. They don't look like a threat. They look like they're drowning. I call them the permanent victim. This is the person who has turned unlucky into a career. In their world, every scar was given to them by someone else. Every failure has a name and a face that isn't theirs. They were betrayed by the boss, misunderstood by the ex, screwed over by the universe. They are the lead character in a tragedy that never ends, and the script is always written in someone else's ink. Now, let's get one thing straight. Real pain exists. People get hurt, and they deserve a shoulder to cry on. But this is different. This is a person who has made their brokenness their entire identity. And here is the trap they've set for your heart. When someone decides they are permanently powerless, they force you into a binary choice. You are either their savior or their villain. There is no middle ground. There is no friend. If you pour your soul into helping them, you're useful for a minute. But the moment you suggest they pick up the shovel and help you dig, the moment you ask them to take an ounce of responsibility, suddenly you're the monster. You're just like all the others. It's an exhausting, high-stakes game of emotional chess. Your empathy, the best part of who you are, is being used as the fuel for their fire. You give and you give and you give until you're shaking with fatigue, but the situation never moves an inch. Why? Because they aren't looking for a way out of the hole. They're looking for someone to sit in the dirt with them and agree that the hole isn't their fault. Think about how this is actually hurting you. It's that specific, hollowed-out exhaustion you feel after the phone hangs up. It's the way your stomach drops when you see their name on your screen. Not because you don't care, but because you know you're about to be used as an emotional dumping ground. You start feeling guilty for having a good day. You start hiding your own success because their tragedy always has to be the loudest thing in the room. You aren't tired because you're weak. You're tired because you are pouring your lifeblood into a cup that has no bottom. The truth is the hardest thing you'll ever have to swallow. Giving someone compassion without boundaries isn't an act of love. It's an act of slow-motion sabotage. You are drowning right alongside them, and eventually, there won't be enough air left for either of you. The third type is the most exhausting because they wear the mask of a brother or a sister. They sit at your table, they toast to your health, and they say all the right things. But if you look closely past the words and into the quiet, you'll see it. There's a tape measure in their hand, and they are constantly holding it up against your life. I call them the secret competitor. This isn't a rival at the office or an enemy across the field. This is someone who claims to love you, but who views your joy as a personal insult. When you win, they don't feel proud. They feel threatened. Your success doesn't inspire them, it exposes them. And because they can't sit with their own insecurity, they leak it onto you. You've felt this, haven't you? It's that glitch in the matrix moment. You share a piece of good news, and for a split second before they put on the congratulations face, you see it. A flicker of resentment, a tightening around the eyes, a shadow of disappointment. Then comes the one-up. You bought a car? They're looking at a better one. You had a hard day? Theirs was a catastrophe. You tell a story and they hijack the punchline. They start dressing like you, talking like you, chasing the same dreams as you. But the moment you call it out, they make you feel like the crazy one. This is why it's messing with your head. As humans, we are wired to trust our tribe. But when someone's words say, "I'm happy for you," while their energy feels like a cold wind, your nervous system goes into a tailspin. You start feeling a low-level, buzzing anxiety every time you're around them. You feel guarded, like you're walking on eggshells in your own life. Eventually, you do something heartbreaking. You start dimming your own light. You stop sharing your wins because you don't want to deal with their vibe. You downplay your beauty, your money, or your happiness just to keep the peace. You shrink yourself so they don't have to feel small. But listen to me, that isn't friendship. That's a hostage situation. You weren't born to be a shadow just so someone else could feel like the sun. When you realize that their support comes with a price tag of your own suppression, the mask falls off. And once the mask is gone, you realize you haven't been losing a friend you've been outgrowing, a parasite. The fourth type is the most dangerous because they don't use a hammer, they use a silk thread. They don't need to raise their voice to make you cower. They don't need to use force to make you stay. I call them the emotional controller. This is the person who has mastered the art of weaponized guilt. They don't fight your boundaries, they just make you feel like a terrible person for having them. Think about the last time you said no to them. Did they get angry? Probably not. They probably just sighed. They got quiet. They looked at the floor and said, "It's fine. I'm used to being second place." Or the classic, "After everything I've sacrificed for you, I guess this is what I should expect." That isn't a conversation. That's a hostage negotiation. They aren't sharing their feelings. They are installing a virus in your mind. They make your independence feel like a betrayal. If you have a dream that doesn't include them, you're selfish. If you have a win that they didn't hand-deliver to you, they remind you, with a helpful little smile, exactly how much they helped you get there. They make sure that even your greatest moments are tainted with the bitter aftertaste of their contribution. Here is why this is breaking your spirit. You likely grew up believing that loving someone means losing yourself. You were taught that no is a dirty word, and that being good means being compliant. The controller didn't invent that weakness in you, they just found the map to it. They know exactly which buttons to press to make you reverse your decisions, apologize for things you didn't do, and shrink your life until it fits inside the palm of their hand. It's a slow, quiet, suffocating. You start checking your phone with a sense of dread. You rehearse your no in the mirror 10 times. And yet, the moment you hear their voice, you crumble. Not because you're weak, but because they've trained you to believe that your boundaries are an act of violence against them. But here is the truth they don't want you to know. Love that requires you to vanish isn't love, it's ownership. A person who uses your empathy as a leash doesn't cherish you. They cherish the control they have over you. When you finally stop apologizing for existing, when you realize that no is a complete sentence that requires no apology, the thread snaps. And for the first time in a long time, you'll realize how much air there actually is to breathe when you aren't living for someone else's approval. The fifth type is the one you'll probably want to defend at first. They're fun. They're the life of the party, the person who always has the tea, the one who knows exactly what's happening in everyone's bedroom, office, and bank account. They make you feel like an insider, like you're part of a private club of two. I call them the trust eroder. This is the person who leans in close, lowers their voice, and tells you something they shouldn't really say about a mutual friend. They do it with a wink or maybe with a fake sigh of concern. And in that moment, your ego feels fed. You feel special. You feel trusted. But here is the cold, hard truth your gut is trying to tell you while your ears are listening to the gossip. If they are handing you someone else's skeleton today, they are handing yours to someone else tomorrow. Period. No exceptions. They don't have friends, they have sources. And the moment you walk out of the room, your vulnerability becomes their social currency. Think about what this is doing to your nervous system. You might think you're just venting or having fun, but your subconscious is smarter than you are. It's watching them dissect someone else, and it's quietly taking notes. It's realizing that in this relationship, honesty is a liability. So, without even realizing it, you start to change. You start performing. You find yourself editing your sentences mid-air. You stop sharing your real fears, your messy dreams, or your actual mistakes. You become a curated version of yourself because you know deep in your bones that anything you say can and will be used against you the moment it's convenient for them. This is the death of intimacy. You aren't being careful, you are living in a state of chronic social vigilance. You're exhausted because you're playing a part, wearing a mask, and guarding the door to your heart every single time you get coffee with them. You feel lonely even when you're sitting right across from them, because you know you can't actually be known. The tragedy isn't just that they talk behind your back. The tragedy is that they've turned your friendship into a minefield. And you deserve a life where you don't have to scan for hidden explosives every time you open your mouth. The sixth type is the one that will bleed you dry under the guise of needing a hand. They don't just have bad luck. They have a talent for catastrophe. Their life isn't a series of events. It's a series of collisions. I call them the chaos creator. You know this person. Your phone buzzes at 2 a.m. and your heart skips a beat because you already know it's them. It's another breakup, another crazy boss, another unfair eviction, another bridge burned to the ground. They are always standing in the middle of a wreckage, crying out for someone to pull them out. And because you have a heart, you keep jumping into the fire to save them. But here is the bitter truth you're finally starting to feel. They aren't trying to put the fire out. They're the ones holding the matches. This isn't just bad luck. This is a chaos-dependent nervous system. For some people, peace feels like a threat. They grew up in a world that was so loud, so unpredictable, and so broken that calm actually feels like the silence before a bomb goes off. Their brain doesn't know how to breathe in the quiet, so they start a fight, they quit the job, or they sabotage the relationship just to make the world feel normal again. And this is what it's doing to you. You've become an unpaid crisis manager. You're living in a constant state of high alert, waiting for the next shoe to drop. You find yourself spending hours on the phone, analyzing their problems, losing sleep over their mistakes, and feeling a strange, heavy guilt whenever your own life is actually going well. You've let their hurricane become your weather. You think you're being a good friend, but you're actually just an oxygen tank for someone who refuses to learn how to breathe on their own. You are being sucked into a vortex that has no bottom. It's heartbreaking to realize, but your stability is being traded for their entertainment. Your peace of mind is the price they charge for their drama. And eventually, you have to ask yourself, how much of your own life are you willing to set on fire just to keep them warm? Because the chaos won't stop until you stop being the one who cleans up the glass. To make this truly human, we have to talk about the hollow, shivering cold that sets in when someone who is supposed to love you turns off the lights. This isn't a clinical performance issue. It's a starvation of the soul. Here is the script, rewritten with raw, heartbreaking, and ultimately empowering human depth. The script: the conditional lover. The seventh type is the one that will make your voice shake when you finally talk about them. They don't live on the edges of your life. They live at the very center. They are the partner who promised to stay, the parent who was supposed to be your anchor, the friend you called family. I call them the conditional lover. With this person, love isn't a soft place to land. It's a prize you have to win over and over again, every single day. When you're doing what they want, when you're the perfect daughter, the supportive partner, the one who says yes before they even ask, they are a son. They wrap you in warmth. They tell you you're amazing. They make you feel like you finally belong. But the moment you step out of line, the moment you choose yourself, the sun goes out. Suddenly, they are cold. They are distant. They use silence like a knife. They don't just disagree with you. They withdraw their affection as a punishment. They make you earn your way back into their good graces. You find yourself standing in the kitchen or looking at a red receipt on your phone, feeling that familiar, sick panic in your chest, wondering, what do I have to do to make them love me again? That is the sound of your soul breaking. When love is a transaction, your heart becomes a marketplace. You stop being a person and start being a performer. You spend your entire life scanning their face for a frown, adjusting your personality like a radio dial, just to find the frequency where they'll be kind to you. You aren't growing. You are auditioning for the right to exist. This creates a terrifying internal world. Because your worth is anchored to their mood, you never feel safe. You feel like a good person on Tuesday and worthless by Wednesday, all because they changed their mind. You've forgotten who you are when you aren't trying to please them. Listen to me. That is not love. That is a leash. Real love doesn't vanish because you had a boundary. Real love doesn't hide when you say no. If you have to set yourself on fire to keep them warm, you aren't in a relationship. You're being consumed. You were born with the right to be seen, to be messy, and to be yourself without the fear of being abandoned. It's time to stop performing. It's time to realize that the only person whose approval you've been missing is the one you've been ignoring while you were too busy chasing theirs. Your own.